human needs, these are universal needs. Every single person has these 6 needs. This is what drives our decisions, our actions every single day. And the top 2, so although we all have these 6 needs, we each value or prioritize them slightly differently. We each have 2 top needs that will drive all of our decisions. So depending on what your top 2 needs are, you're going to make very different decisions from someone else. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into people's psychology. Why do people behave a certain way? Why do they make certain decisions? Even when they know something isn't good for them, they still go and do that thing, right? Why do they do that? It's because of a need that they're trying to meet. Okay, so let's talk about what those 6 needs are. So the first human need that we are going to talk about is the need for certainty. This is the need for predictability. It's the need for being in control. It's that need for security and safety, stability, that need for order, right? This is what people need certainty, in order to make any kind of decision. They need to feel a certain level of predictability. So think about that person who hates surprises, hates change. You just spring a change on them and they push back, they're resistant, right? That person most likely has a really high need for certainty. And especially when things are really chaotic or things are changing and there's lots of things that are just not in a person's control, usually their need for certainty goes up. Okay, so it's important to keep that in mind, and it's important for you to recognize when someone on your team has a high need for certainty. All right, let's move into the next need, the need for variety. So while certainty is the need for things to remain the same and for things to be predictable, variety is that need for change, the need for stimulation and excitement. Even though we all have a certain level of a need for certainty, we get bored. There are times when we are going to crave change. We're going to want some level of challenge in our lives, right? And so it's important to also think about variety and what is that. If you're talking about someone on your team, think about someone who might be an adventure seeker, right? Someone who constantly goes on adventures, and people that are jumping off of planes and doing all these wild things that just really excite them. There is a level of stimulus that they require. They need that heightened level of stimulus for them to function. And if you know this about someone on your team, then you can embed an element of variety or excitement into your message. So if you're sharing a new idea, let's say with a team member who one of their top needs is variety, then you want to use words of excitement. You want to create a level of excitement when you're engaging that conversation. You want to create the energy in the room that is of enthusiasm. And you want to talk about, okay, when we do this, when we implement this idea, this is how it's going to change things up. This is how it's going to be exciting and how fun it's going to be, right? So this is the need for an element of fun, right? The next need is a need for significance. Now, we all have a certain level of need for wanting to feel valued, for wanting to feel special, and to be recognized for your efforts, to be recognized by the people that you work with, people in your personal life, by your friends, by your peers, your boss. You want to know that you matter, right? And there are some people who have a really high need for significance. So if you know that someone's top need is significance, this is how it might show up. So let's say you just finished a project, right? And you're done with your project and you're ready to move on to the next one. However, you did not take any time to celebrate or recognize people on your team, and you are ready to just move on to the next thing because you're a go-getter and you want to just get done and move on to the next thing. Well, guess what? Who has a high need for significance? they are not going to be ready to move forward. They're going to get stuck. They're going to push back. They're going to be resistant because you have not spent any time recognizing their efforts. They don't understand how they added value to that project, to the organization. And so it's really important to spend some time really pausing and saying, hey, you did a really great job with executing that project plan and making sure that the customer was satisfied, or whatever it is that they did. You want to be specific, and you want to make sure that you praise them in private and even in public, right? It depends on the person, on how they like that praise, but you have to spend some time recognizing people for their efforts. All right, the next need is the need for connection and love. This is the strong feeling of closeness that we all want to experience. It's that feeling of closeness to someone, to a group of people. It's that feeling of acceptance, the feeling of belonging, right? And so think about the person who, before, anytime you meet them, they want to spend some time getting to know you. They want to get some time, asking you about your weekend. What did you do this weekend? Who did you spend time with? How's your mom doing? How are your kids doing? They are genuinely interested in you and your well-being, and they want you to be interested in them, right? So if you know that someone's top need is connection, this is how it would show up. If you're a really high, type A type of person, and you are ready to just get things done and you don't have time for chit chat, right? And you start off a meeting or a conversation and you want to get straight to the point, guess what? This person is going to be turned off. They're going to completely turn you off, and they're going to push back because you haven't spent any time connecting with them on a deeper level. The next need that I'd like to share with you is the need for growth. Now, this is the need for constant learning or self-expansion. It's the need for self-discovery or constant improvement, right? There are some people who have growth as their top two needs, and the way that it shows up is someone who might be constantly investing in their self-development. They're constantly reading books. They're constantly attending trainings or doing some continuous learning. They look for ways to make improvements, right? So all of you in Lean and Six Sigma world, you know what I'm talking about. People that really want to help themselves grow. They want to see the organization grow, and they want to see people on their team grow. And the final need that I'd like to share with you is the need for contribution. This is the need for focusing on others and helping and serving others. This is that need to support others and giving back to the community or giving back to the world, right? There are some people that really have a strong need for contributing to the greater good of the world. And it's not just enough for them to just do their job and just execute a list of tasks. That's not enough for them. They have a deep need to contribute to the community, to the world, and you can help them by showing them or by helping them identify how is the change or how is the work that they're doing, how is that contributing to the organization? How are they making an impact in the world? Help them see that connection. By showing them how those dots connect, you can make them feel a lot more connected to the world, to the community, and it shows them how they're contributing, right? It helps them meet their need for contribution.